So The Terror, episode 8. I love the beginning of this episode with Fitzjames and Crozier together. It kind of challenges classic TV tropes here and lets these two finally come to an understanding of each other. I really like Fitzjames came around here and basically admitted to Crozier that he was in it all for vanity and glory and the fame. And now he's scared out of his mind because that's not even important anymore. And Crozier explains, look at it for the brotherhood now and for the love of it, which is really cool. I thought that was a really good scene. Because a lot of shows like to keep two opposing viewpoints just always fighting and it never solves itself. But this really kind of gave some closure there and makes you really like Fitzjames now, where he can kind of see the other side, which John Franklin never could. And speaking of John Franklin, that note Fitzjames finds in the rock that was left there, that is actually the only real document from this whole exploration in real life. And it's noting the death of John Franklin on it. That real note, you can see the picture of it online, and it's currently in a museum, so it's pretty cool that they have that in the show, and kind of chilling that it's real. I've come to the conclusion watching this episode that Hickey, for all my Game of Thrones fans, is like Littlefinger, and he looks totally like Seth Green, and he's a weasel, and if you kind of liked him before this episode, there's no way you still like him after this one. He is a jerk. He is a pure villain here. We still don't even really know who this guy is, clearly, because last episode we found out he did something to the real Hickey and took his clothes. But Hickey knows how to play his cards, and he plays them smart again here. Crozier had the first smart move, though, where he thought to take out the food of the killed soldier's stomach and see it was seal meat, so he was clearly fed by the Eskimos. Great move there to prove to his men that he is telling the truth and that Hickey killed these men. But Hickey is about to be hung, and he has that really strong case that, hey, Crozier was going to leave at some point with his own group and leave his men. Now Hickey angles it to sound more betraying and bad, but really at that time, if you remember, Crozier was planning to do that, but that's when he was butting heads with John Franklin. It wasn't even wanted at that point. It was John Franklin's crew. So it wasn't as bad as Hickey was making it look, but he had some points, but he was playing every card he can get, and that was the right one to play at that moment. And didn't you just get nervous during that scene that someone was going to shoot Crozier when he was on that pedestal? Especially how many guns were around and how much they talked about different men's shots in this episode, how good of a shooter they were. So that did not happen, and then the bear comes through. And before the bear came through, this scene was really beautifully shot. It looked amazing, and it gave you that chilling effect because you couldn't even see with all this fog they put in this episode. It was really, really cool. But then the bear wreaks havoc. I'm not crazy about the bear as I was in the beginning, because I think the show's gotten so good without it now that you don't really need it. It's not as necessary. It is a supernatural thing. If you're into that, I usually am, but I was actually totally forgetting about the bear and the supernatural part of this whole thing, that I was ready just to dive into this story, so I was kind of a little disappointed when it popped up, but it wasn't the end of the world. It set up a great scene where they're all running around the camp and chaos is ensuing. And that scene, the way it was shot, that one shot going around the camp in a circle into different tents, it's basically just like the scene from True Detective in season 1 with Matthew McConaughey, where he's going from house to house and it's a shootout. Really well done. Maybe the best tracking shot of the season for The Terror. There was really good emotional beats here too. Lady Silence saying goodbye to Good Sir and him just trying to accept that this good woman, if she comes back, is going to get killed by these men, and him saying that men aren't really like this where he's from. They've become different. It's a very sad scene, emotional and touching, and we'll see what happens with Lady Silence as she comes back into this at the end. Fitzjames has a great idea of shooting fireworks at the bear, but does not work. It really didn't do anything to the bear. I'm really nervous now to see what's going to happen to Fitzjames and Good Sir and Crozier. 3 most likable characters left, maybe the only ones. We'll see who makes it out alive and how they wrap this thing up. We got 2 episodes left. What's going to become of Hickey's endgame here? We're setting up for a big finale. Can't wait to see what we got coming up. Please comment below your thoughts on this episode. I'm going to give this episode an 8.5. Really, really good. Wasn't the best one, but it was solid, action-packed, and leaves me wanting more. Please comment below with your thoughts on the episode. What did you think of it? Respond to everybody. What did you think of that bear sucking the soul out of that guy with the mutton chops at the end? Tell me any theories you got. Let's keep the discussion going. Please subscribe because my review of each episode is posted right after it airs live. So you don't want to miss one, and I'll see you next time.